was the crowd like, and what kind of response did he get?
Well, certainly a bigger crowd than I think Democrats would like to see, particularly given this is one of the bluest counties in the entire country. Now, one of the things that was interesting to me is that the Trump campaign said that they were going to micro-target to get people from the community to come to this rally. I wasn't sure what to expect. I've gone to a lot of these rallies across the country, and there are often people who travel hundreds of miles to see Donald Trump, and they're not necessarily part of the community. However, one of the things that I found was that there were a lot of people here that were actually from the Bronx.
Well, yeah, welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. That is Kristen Holmes, a surprise Kristen Holmes, talking to a shocked Anderson Cooper that thousands would turn out in the South Bronx for Donald Trump. Sarah Bedford joins me from the Washington Examiner. Sarah, I'm not shocked. Trump has a big poll in many minority communities. He's got a large number of African Americans moving his way. He's done very well with Latinos. Were you surprised?
No, not at all. I mean, this could be Donald Trump's path to the White House, right? Through minority communities that have overwhelmingly voted Democratic in the past. But because Donald Trump has spoken directly to the working class, and because Democrats have sort of remade themselves as a party that is of the elite and for the elite, these are the types of crowds that you could expect Donald Trump to poll in these types of neighborhoods. I mean, winning New York statewide could be a long shot, right? No Republican has won that in a presidential since Ronald Reagan in 1984. But Donald Trump does have a chance to eat into those margins with black voters, with Hispanic voters that put Joe Biden in the White House.
And I don't know that New York is within reach, but 9 points is not double digits, and that certainly means a lot of blue states might be tilting his way. Now, let me ask you, Sarah, in terms of the members of Congress, including the Speaker, who trooped up to make a show of strength and support for the former president during this show trial, I applaud the Speaker for doing it. I applaud Mike Waltz, others who showed up. What is generally the reaction among Republicans to this show trial in New York? Did they talk to you in the hallway about how outrageous it is?
I think almost all the Republicans, even the ones who haven't made the trek specifically up to be by Trump's side at the trial, think particularly this one is a sham. And I don't think there's a lot of shyness about speaking out against this one, right? Maybe some national security hawks might be more reluctant to talk about the classified documents case. Some of the more centrist Republicans, maybe in Joe Biden's districts, might not want to talk about the January 6 cases. But the hush money case is very obviously the most political, the weakest, the biggest distortion of the law to get Trump out of all of the cases. And so it's actually sort of been a unifying thing among Republicans to be able to point to this as something totally unfair, bordering on election interference. And so, you know, this is where I think Donald Trump will see the greatest amount of support from members of Congress. It's this.
You know, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. It does allow Republicans to rally around him on a particular part of the lawfare and not go all the way in. In terms of how Republicans are feeling about the fall, do you think a conviction is baked into these polls? Because I said that to Larry Kudlow last night, and I do believe it. I don't think it matters a lick if he's convicted. If he's acquitted, that would be an earthquake. It's not going to happen. But a hung jury, I think that's priced in too. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, you know, of this time last year, we were probably having discussions about whether the indictments would hurt Donald Trump, and they didn't. And especially this conviction, you know, the issue at the heart of the case was litigated in 2016, in 2018, whether Donald Trump was a philanderer of women. People know that. And I think a Manhattan jury convicting Trump of a hush money payment that already dinged him politically, that is already priced in, I don't think will hurt him at all. I mean, it's hard to believe that there's anyone left in America, to be honest, who hasn't made up their mind over who they're going to vote for, Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Maybe they haven't made up their mind if they're actually going to turn out to vote for their candidate. That could be, you know, up in the balance. But I do agree with you that a conviction here, I don't really see it moving the needle for Donald Trump. People know who he is.
Sarah, I wish I had said what you said. I think there isn't an undecided vote. There mythically, Byron York pointed out last night, there are mythically, your colleague at the Washington Examiner, mythically there's some small percentage that have made up their mind. I just don't think they're willing to tell people. And they may not even have articulated it yet, but between my 5 issues of inflation, immigration, Israel, the infirmity of the president, the injustice done to Donald Trump, I think it's going his way. Your last word to you right now, if you had to bet, you're betting Trump or Biden?
I think the smart money would be on Donald Trump. His fundraising numbers are up. The momentum is in his favor. And Joe Biden doesn't seem to be able or willing to do anything to stop his slide. He's really a one-trick pony pointing to the dangers of Donald Trump, and that argument is just wearing thin on people. They don't believe it anymore.
What do you think about the debate, Sarah? 30 seconds. Do you think the president is going to actually show up because his infirmity is becoming rather pronounced?
But I think he has to. I don't think he has the choice. The only reason they agreed to it, I think, is because Joe Biden has to do something dramatic to shake up the momentum. And the risk of not doing it at this point is potentially even greater because, like you said, Donald Trump is on a glide path at this point to winning.
Yeah, and he has got Trump's energy is building. Biden's is waning. I think that's the story of 2024. So good to talk to Sarah C. Bedford. Follow her on X at Sarah C. Bedford.